Hi guys, Deshi here. Welcome back to another video. I really hope I'm in frame because if I'm not, I'm just gonna take the risk. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Before I say anything, I just want to tell you that this takes a lot of effort, you guys. Like, I always feel like you guys are like content, but it takes so much. So today I had a day. I was running errands today, so I was like, let me tell this story, huh? Let me tell this story. If you know this background, you'll know we're about to do a story time. So grab your drink. You're gonna need something to calm you down. You're gonna need like some whiskey to just warm your body, some tea to just warm your body. I'm drinking a juice, my darling. What do you have, man? Or juice that Nando Birara. Because my darling is also okay. Before we get into this, content warning. Guys, we are about to talk about unaliving people. I need to choose my words wisely because I've realized that the last time I spoke about how do I even things that come out of your cookie and you go to the pharmacy for medication for it, I didn't get like the money that came off that video as viral as it was YouTube was like, Chomi, you're talking about things that if kids watch these things, they'll be like, oopsie, what's I get myself into? So I'm gonna use terms like unaliving. Yeah, I think that's the only term that I will use. Yeah. If anything, I'll improvise and explain it. I also just want to tell you guys, Kucha, if this is not for you, if this is not the type of things you want to be watching because you just feel like it's too much to handle, please, just play the back. You see, you must just reduce the volume, leave it in the background to play. As it's playing, you are doing, you're washing plates, you're not listening, huh? You're just helping me get money. I've not eaten in 3 days, so please, like, subscribe, share. But yeah, no shame. We talk a lot about, not a lot, but we're gonna talk about like yeah, something very brutal. So just to warn you, okay? Let's get into it. And it's a bit cold, guys, so don't mind me wearing all warm and stuff. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, so this story is tricky because I can't say it in first voice because the victim has gone to Jesus. So I can't speak it in first voice, so I can only speak it as how it was told to me. And the person that told it to me is someone that was very, very close to this person that had gone to Jesus. That's not funny, but I don't want to say the term. I don't want to say the term that starts with a D. So, yeah, I'm going to try and make it as realistic as possible, but also tell it to you. Let's begin. Maybe you'll understand once I begin. This story goes back many, many years ago. We are talking 2000 and so let's give them a name. So the two main characters, the woman is going to be Betty, and then the guy will name Natangwe. Okay, so I'm gonna name him Natangwe and Betty. How do I remember those names? So Natangwe and Betty met like at a village in the north. They met in the north. Betty was a student, a learner at the time. Natangwe also Ngane, but he was older than her, maybe by like 7-8 years. He was older by 7-8 years. And they met while she was still in high school, and it was really cute because at the time it was that thing of, you know, you're in high school but you're dating someone that, like, at the time he was working, so it's a thing of meeting someone and your peers think, yeah, like, you're dating this guy with money, but he doesn't even have money because he's working and you're not. So they met in high school, you know, just high school love, what. Fast forward after high school, Betty got into varsity, so she was pursuing a degree. I'm not going to go into details because I do want to respect Betty as much as she's not here to tell her own story. I want to respect her and not give away as much, even if most of it was publicized. Well, some of it was publicized. So with what the public knows, I'll make public, and then the little things that Nangula told me, I will try and colorful it so that voila. So Betty goes to varsity and she's doing very well for herself. So she's studying, and Natangwe is still supporting her. Like, he's such a supportive boyfriend. He's everything you would want in a man. He wasn't, obviously at the time, it wasn't a thing of buying flowers and buying cars, but he did for her what he could at the capacity of his salary. So it was a thing of like, if she needed toiletries, he would send her money for toiletries. Or if she was going to visit him, for instance, he would pay for transport. Like, just an understanding boyfriend, honestly. So yeah, they dated. At some point, she felt the need to introduce him to her parents. This is just FYI, this is her first boyfriend, and clearly it became so serious. So this is the only idea of a man she knows. Like, she doesn't know men are trash. Like, for her, her man is her man. Sharp. She introduces him to her family, and her family loves her. Guys, I'm talking from grandparents to dogs. Everybody likes Natangwe because he's such a well-mannered boy. You know, like, you know how Vambos take pride in Utekwavo. Like, this guy, he just knows also how to be with or be around people. They obviously at this point they've been dating for so long, but Nangula has never heard any cheating scandal or him treating her bad. I mean, obviously they would have arguments here and there, but their arguments were not even like deep arguments. And that's why they always say you must pick your battle wisely. People are fighting bigger problems while they're fighting socks that he did not pick up his socks. So they would have like petty fights. Sharp. Everybody loved her. Even Nangula loved this guy. Like, guys, this guy was so perfect. You do not understand. So she's at varsity at this point, and we're getting into the 2020s, like into the we're moving past the 2000s. Around 2020, COVID happens, obviously, and then Betty kind of had to put her things on hold because obviously life changed drastically. Nobody understand what's going on. Nobody, I think at the time, also understood COVID properly. So everything was on a standstill. So she then at the time decides, okay, because my man lives in, let's say he lives in Luderitz. My man lives in Luderitz, so let's go to Luderitz. Let me go to Luderitz and go live with my man Amos because, like, what's the point? So she goes to Luderitz to go stay with her man, and it's all cute. She's doing wifey duties, ironing for her bra, cooking for her boy, that kind of love. And then fast forward, she gets a job. She got a job in a company where they do shifts. So it would be a thing of when you're temporary in the company, you would do night shifts only, strictly night shifts. So she would go in from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. That's her shift. So she zimbukas in the morning. She goes like Matango, and then she zimbukas in the morning. And I think that her relatives found out that they were living together, and they were like, no, we don't appreciate, maybe he must marry you. Because at this point, but they were all expecting marriage. Like, what is taking him so long? Because at that point, I know they'd be dating for maybe over 9-10 years. And also, they never had a child. So it was also a thing of, oh, they're not getting married and there's no child. Like, what's going on? Sharp. She gets a job. She gets a phone call from a relative, and they're like, no, I kind of don't like the fact that you're living with this man. It's just gonna make him comfortable, and you blah blah blah. So she moves out and gets herself like a bedroom, something like that. A bedroom, not flat, but it's like a bachelor flat. Yeah, because bachelor flats are the ones with everything inside the room. So she's living there, and he's living where he's living. And then after like a few months, retrenchment becomes a reality to a lot of people. So he got retrenched, unfortunately, and that meant he couldn't afford his rent. And she had a conversation with her people and was like, guys, my man doesn't have a job anymore, so I kind of feel like this is the right time I should come through for him, because he's been coming through for me and all of you guys. So then they're like, no, Sharp, because I mean, he was also there for you, da 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 da. So he moves into her place. But I think, like, I don't know, I think it's a thing of, like, you know, men and maybe losing their source of income. And now he's been provided for by this woman. He's obviously a typical Vambo man. He just felt like, this girl is telling me what to do. So there were points where he would like rebel kashona, or like just act out of character. Or for instance, he would go out and come back and his eyes are red, and he would just act out of character. But I'm not, if like me listening to the story, one would think he was either depressed or he was in his thoughts a lot. Obviously, you've been working all your life, then all of a sudden you don't have a job anymore. The first thing you are going to do is be in your thoughts about not being able to provide when you are known or when you are a provider. Sharp. So Betty would call Nangula and be like, I don't know, I just feel like Natangwe has changed and he's just like different now, and he goes out and drinks, and when he comes back he just, you know, is acting funny. And Nangula would be like, you know, maybe it's the fact that he's unemployed and he's depressed, so give him space, maybe he needs a space, and whatever. But Betty, because she understands the power of through thick and thin, even if, you know, they're not married, she came through for her man. Like, she would buy him toiletries, she would give him money, and, you know, go chill with your friends as well, so you don't look like you are waiting for them to buy you a beer, stuff like that. And I don't know if he appreciated it, but I guess it kind of worked Tanga for a while, because the time frame was she moved out of his place, and then 2 months later he gets retrenched. So that's like the period. Sharp. As they're living together, Betty decides, or before, when she moved out of his place, she decided to get a niece. She's going to get her niece, her brother's daughter, to live with her. Just because I think also she didn't want to live alone, and she was this child's godparent, so she just felt the need to live with her godchild. So at the time, the child is maybe like 5 years old. At the time, the child is 5. So they live together, and now Uncle Natangwe is living with us. So there were the 3 of them sleeping there. And remember, it's a bachelor flat, no? So they're probably, the child's probably either sleeping on the mattress or the child is sleeping with them on the bed. It was that type of setting. It was just like a room with a space where you can cook and all that jazz. But the way that her flat was set up is, it's like one line of 3 flats, like, or 4, like flat here, flat here, flat here. So they were right next to each other. Sharp. So before he moved in, she used to drop her child off by her neighbor, because she also had kids, and it would only be fair that when we go to work, we can leave the kids, you know, playing together at your place, and then when I come back, then I can take the child and sleep. The child can sleep at my place. So that was the routine before Natangwe moved in. When Natangwe moved in, it was a thing of, okay, Natangwe is at home, so he can stay with the child, and most obviously. So this one time, random Thursday, Natangwe decides, no, before the Thursday, Betty was at work, and she kept getting notifications. But the trick about where she works is, you like you hand in your phone, so you don't have your phone, and then you only get it at certain hours where you have breaks. So those hours are at 10, and then again later in the afternoon, no, at 10 at night, and then 2 midnight, and then again when you get your phone at 6. So at 2 midnight, she calls ne Nangula Kucha. And for some odd reason, I think Nangula was lowing. For some odd reason, she got Nangula awake. So she calls Nangula and she's like, Nangula, I don't know, but I feel like I'm being scammed. So Nangula's like, hey. She's like, no, I'm missing money from my account and I don't understand how. Guys, like, imagine not having your phone for a while, and when you have your phone, it's notifications from your bank saying that you're missing money. So Nangula instantly says, okay, listen, maybe send the rest of your money to me, because if because Nangula instigated the fact that it could be an inside job, but then Betty's like at flipping 1 a.m. because the deduction was done at 1 a.m. and the reference of the place is like a street in Luderitz. So let's call the street I've never been to Luderitz, so I'll just say Van Wyk Street. Like the ATM in Van Wyk Street is where the money was deducted, and it was like 1,000 or 2,000, just those random amounts. And obviously, if you don't have cell phone banking, you don't get notifications when you withdraw $100. So this guy would withdraw 100 every hour, that it would accumulate to amounts like 500-600, and then he made a mistake, or I don't know if it was deliberate, and then he withdrew 1,000. So Betty obviously wouldn't think her man would steal from her. That was the last thought in her head. But the only person that knew her PIN was Natangwe. So, and at the time she didn't think that it was Natangwe that was stealing the money. So she called Nangula. Nangula was like, okay, I'll sort it out tomorrow at the bank, because she didn't have cell phone banking to send the money to Nangula. Next morning comes, she goes home and she confronts him. Kucha, oh, not confronts him, but almost like tells him, Kucha, no, she called the bank. She called the next morning, she calls the bank and she tells them, no, I've been getting deductions at this place, And they're like, no, this person has been deducting money from your account, and they're even putting in your PIN. It's not like they stole your card or whatever. And she knows that the only person that knows her details like that is Natangwe. So she confronts Natangwe, oh, brother, you're stealing from me? And he's like, no, I had things to do. I had things to do with the money. Not even being apologetic at the fact that, listen, you could have asked. He was like, I used it for my things. So I must just understand. Like, Betty must just understand the fact that, listen, I took your ATM card and went to withdraw your money for my own things. So just deal with it, because we're in a relationship. So I don't even know what he was thinking, to be honest. Sharp. Betty calls Nangula. Oh, Nangula, no, it was Natangwe. And Betty's like, Natangwe? Why would Natangwe steal money from you? And she was like, no, he didn't apparently steal it. He used it for his things. And when I asked about it, he was being defensive, and I didn't want to fight about it, so I just left. Sharp. On a random Thursday, Natangwe decides he's going to the north. Sharp. He goes to the north and tells Betty Kucha, no, Betty, I'm going to the north. And Betty's like, oh, okay, sharp. And obviously, because these people know each other's parents and family, she didn't even take it up to herself to, call him and find out give Wafika Nawa or whatever. This guy went Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then he was back on Monday. As he comes back, he tells the bus driver that, no, I don't have enough, and because he took a bus driver of a person that's popular back in their village, and told the driver, no, I'll pay you end of the month. I don't have money right now. And the bus driver, because he knows them, they're like, okay, sharp. And guys, I think the psychology of life is, when you have been a good person in your previous life, there is absolutely no reason for people to doubt you or to not help you, So I don't think the driver, he thought anything beyond anything. But in every town they stopped in, Natangwe would buy a drink, who. And he was so specific that he was like, listen, can we stop in Tsumeb, because I want to buy bags of potatoes from Tsumeb. And then I like, that, like, are you not the same person I said you don't have money? Like, all of a sudden you have money. But then I don't think they confronted him about it. But for him, for the driver to be like, I have take, he was like, okay, sharp. But they didn't stop in Tumem. They ended up stopping in Otavi. And as they were driving past Tumem, he got angry. Like, Nathan got angry with her. Why are you not stopping in Tumem? And then the driver's like, no, it's not that deeper. You can still get it in Otavi. And he's like, no, the reason I wanted it in Tumem is because it was cheaper in Tumem. It was just going on. So the driver turned his car back, went to Tumem, bought his potatoes. 2 bags of potatoes for a guy that did not have money for fuel for the bus. Sharp. Let me take my drink. Please drink your drink because it's about to go down. Sharp. Jiggy Tuesday morning, Agane. No, Monday morning. So he left on Sunday, and they only arrived in Lutherets the Monday morning. Monday morning, he goes to his girl's place, unlocks the door, puts his bags of potatoes and his bag. And I think when they arrived, because she was obviously at work, when they arrived, he packed everything. Because when she came from work, she didn't find a sign of this guy. All she found was 2 bags of potatoes and his backpack that he went with to the north. Everything was gone. His shoes, his deodorant, everything was gone. And that Tuesday, like Monday, Eshafika, he left. So he didn't sleep at home. Then he came, and then Tuesday comes, and Betty calls his cousin because they have each other's people's numbers like that. And she's just like, no, is Natangwe at your place? Because I think he arrived, but he didn't sleep at home. So I'm just worried about his well-being. Is he okay? And then the guy is like, I don't know. Let me find out. So because the cousin went to call Natangwe and asked where he was, Natangwe got so angry. He called and he was confronting her. Then he came back home on Wednesday. I'm probably confusing the dates, but yeah. So Wednesday he sleeps at home, but then because he arrived at home and she was leaving, so let's say for instance he arrived at home at like 5 and she was leaving at 6, so there was no time to really confront the situation or to talk about it. And honestly guys, there's no need to argue about certain things. He could have just sat down with her and explained, or if he didn't need to explain because he's a man, he could have just listened to what she had to say. So she leaves, she leaves, and then she leaves him with the child. Later at night, around 9ish, he leaves the place, takes the child to the neighbor's house, and then found like one of the, I think it's like the neighbor lives maybe with like a cousin, and goes to the neighbor's door, knocks on the door and says, oh no, I'm here to drop off the little girl. And then she's like, oh, okay, cool. She doesn't mind because she probably knows that he's going to drink or whatever. But then before he leaves, he says, oh, do you guys have a hammer? And she's like, a hammer? And he was like, yeah, do you guys have a hammer? And she's like, we do. Why? No, can you please give it to me because I got work and I need to use it. And she's like, at 9, you need to use a hammer at 9. And he's like, yeah, it's a small job that I got. But yeah, and she was so hesitant to give this hammer. I think also sometimes, guys, listen to your gut, to be honest. Just listen to your gut because you never really know. So she was so hesitant. Like, she was asking questions around like why you want a hammer at night, that type of jazz. But eventually she gave in and got the hammer and gave it to him. He left. I think he went to go drink or whatever, then eventually came back home. When he came back home, he slept because obviously Betty only knocks off in the morning. So sometimes she would arrive at home at like 5ish to 6ish, like depending on the people that they had to drop and the traffic on the road, and because it's in the morning there's usually no traffic. But yeah, so she came with her colleague who lives next door. So as they arrived, the neighbor goes into her room and she now unlocks the door. So as she's unlocking the door to get in, Natangwe was standing behind the door. So it's a thing of you are almost pushing the door in. So he's on this side. As she enters near to close the door, Natangwe takes this hammer and uses it on her head. So he hit her with this hammer, and she's laying on the floor, and he just goes at it and goes at it and goes at it, and he's only paying attention to this area, right? He goes at it and goes at it and goes at it about like 10 times. Once he's done, he notices she's unalive, takes a knife, cuts her clothes. I don't know with what intent, because she didn't have any bruises anywhere else. It was literally just here. You could not even recognize Betty. Like, that's how much either force was used or anger. I don't even know, because I'm sure the first hit was enough to get rid of her. Sharp takes a knife, cuts her clothes, turns her around, cuts the back. Once he's done, and mind you, the little child is still next door, no? So, and this happened so quickly because she arrived and all the neighbors heard, because apparently, because they lived so close to each other, you could hear like slight noises. All they heard was a slight scream, not even like too much of a scream, just a slight scream, and banging. So that's all they heard. But then they didn't investigate it further, because it was just like a young scream. So, minutes later, or when he was done doing whatever it is that he was doing, he gets up with proof all over his hands and shorts or pants or whatever he was wearing, locks her in the house, walks to the police station. Then the neighbor decides, oh, okay, so it's obviously her and the kids, and the bed is crowded, and she also wants to rest. And usually the routine is I drop the kid back to her house so that we can both rest because we're tired. So she comes out of her flat, knocks on the door, and there's no response. Knocks again, there's no response. And she's like, man, okay, let me call her. She gets her phone, she calls her. As she's calling, like, she can hear that the phone is ringing inside. And she's like, this person can't possibly be sleeping if we just arrived. We literally arrived minutes before I decided to bring the child back into her flat. So as she's about to turn away, she notices that there's like a red substance on the door handle. And she knows what it is because she looks at it, she touches it, and she's like, oh, but this is, sharp. Let's pause the neighbor. There by the police station, Natangwe goes there boldly with all the evidence written all over him, goes to the police station and says, I just committed an accident. There's an accident back home. And the police officers have the audacity to say, oh, okay, there are no cars in there, so you must wait. I don't think you guys heard me properly. No? The police officers see a man with red substance on his hands that show that he did something, and he's saying that there's an accident at home. Yet they say there are no vehicles. Maybe I'm judging them, but I just felt it's such a matter of, I don't know, guys. I'm no officer. I'm not going to be here judging them. Maybe they thought it was far and they needed a car, but I wish they rushed into a situation to show that they even cared. Then the guy even says, no, it's not far. We can walk. So they walk to the place. As they are walking, they find a neighbor at the door, but she was just about to turn away to go back to her flat, and she was with the little girl. And they ask Kucha, oh, what are you doing here? I mean, this guy just came here telling us that there's an accident in the house. What are you doing here? And she's like, no, I'm here. This is my colleague's flat. So I came with the little child because usually what happens is when we knock off, I bring her. She comes and sleeps here. And then when we leave, she brings the child and she stays with my people. And they're like, oh, okay. They take the keys from Natangwe, they unlock. As they open the door, guys, it was just a pool of red substance. on the floor, and there she is laying like unrecognizable. And this little 5-year-old child is looking at these things. And the guy says, this is not, the police officer says, no, this is not an accident. You literally unalived this person. And then he, like, when he's asked, oh, what were you doing? He would respond things like, I don't know. It's as if he was in his unright mind, that now that he went to go offer himself. So they obviously arrest him. They call, people to come maybe investigate the place, and they found the murder weapon, I'm assuming. And yeah, I don't really want to go through his sentencing, because if you've read about the story, you would know that he was sentenced to prison. Didn't get enough years, because he only got like 22 years. And even that 22, there were things around it, and he got 20 because apparently he didn't waste resources. And my thing about, my opinion about this whole thing, and I think that the one thing that breaks my heart so much is the fact that we will never really know his true intention. We'll never know why he did what he did. It could be rituals, maybe money rituals. It could be ego. It could be insecurities. I don't know. It could be drugs. We will never really know someone's true intentions of doing what they're doing or doing what they did. But to brutally unalive someone, how much do you hate? How much do you hate this person? And it goes to show that love can be sour, guys. Sometimes we're very naive, and I'm sure, I don't even want to say I'm sure there were no red flags. There were red flags, because the way Nangula described this person, and it seems she had a really, really good relationship with Betty. So I think Betty would always tell her, if anything, should tell her. But you will never really know what someone is going through behind closed doors. But I don't think her family or Betty herself, may her soul honestly, truly rest in peace, because I don't think she ever in her wildest dreams thought Natangwe would do that. Even when I was listening to the story, I didn't think Natangwe would ever, I don't think Natangwe would be the one to do that. But it just goes to show that people will do what they feel is right for them to do to you. And unfortunately, it's sad that I don't even know if the family got an apology, but it's sad that we lose our person, or the Nangula's family loses their person, and now Natangwe, all Natangwe has to do is serve his time. That's all he has to do, and he has his life back. And even now in prison, he has his entire life back. And I don't think anybody knows if he's living in there with privilege. It's just so sad. And I'm so sorry, guys, if this is a sad story, but I kind of feel like I wanted to share it, because there's so much messaging in it. Obviously not the most obvious message of, yeah, if he beats you, but also just I don't even know, guys. I don't even know how, as human beings, we can protect ourselves from other human beings when they seem to love you. So I don't know, but I hope the family has found closure. I hope they have found it in them to forgive him. I don't think Nangula has forgiven him, because she still kind of speaks about him with so much anger, and I don't blame her. I would also be very angry about it. But yeah, I hope this was can't even say a nice video. I hope this was useful to someone out there. yeah, I'll see you guys in another video. I'm so confused because I can't say, oh guys, I have come to the end of. No, it's not even exciting to talk about because it has such a sad ending. So ish, I'll see you guys in another video.